Very excited at the Perth Convention and Exhibition Centre because as soon as the guest list for Supanova came out and I found out Vernon Wells was coming to Perth, I was very excited because you went in so many great movies that I fell in love with as a kid and growing up. Pleasure to meet you and pleasure to have you in Perth.
My pleasure to be here, my friend.
And not bad for someone that has been in so many movies that never wanted to be an actor in the first place. How does that work out?
Well, I mean, if we want to be truthful, I grew up on a farm in Rushworth, Victoria, in the middle of nowhere. And being an actor was furthest thing from my mind. I really didn't like it, to be blunt. I shouldn't say this, but I got conned into doing a stage play, which I did not want to do. And it was about a transvestite and her boyfriend, and it's written by Michel Tremblay, a French-Canadian writer, and it was about Montreal wanting to secede from Canada and become a free French-speaking state. And the French government went. So he wrote a play about it. And they wanted me to do it, and I was, being the big boy from the country, I said to my manager when she asked me and told me what it was about, a transvestite and her boyfriend, I said, sweetheart, I come from the country, I wrestle cows, I don't wrestle guys. And she didn't kind of get the joke for a while. So they just persisted and persisted until I did it. And then George Miller's girlfriend, Sandy Gore, saw it and then told George she had seen this guy on stage. And she said, when he takes his clothes off, you can't take your eyes off him. And I always wondered what that meant exactly. Anyway, George decided that he would. And I became Wes, and that started the whole ball rolling.
Wow! So you're going to the quarry, to a salesperson, to the theatre, and then you found yourself in a great movie called Mad Max 2: The Road Warrior.
Yep. And I've done now 397 more. And I don't look like stopping anytime soon.
That's fantastic. You always like to be busy, don't you?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm lucky. It amazes me that my wife said to me one day, she said, "You should be retired." And I went, "I am. It's just that nobody will let me stop. You know, I just keep getting hired. So, you know, I just love it, and I love what I do, so I enjoy doing it."
I mentioned before you've been in so many movies. There's a side note on Mad Max. Did you actually catch the new Mad Max movie, Fury Road and Furiosa? I love them, but
so did I.
I would have liked you to be some sort of cameo in them, but I wish they'd have asked you to do that.
Well, George and I had an agreement that wouldn't happen.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Mostly because, as he always said, Wes was 21 lines, and I managed to take it and make it into a movie, and therefore that character is just embedded in people's minds when you say Road Warrior. And he said, no matter what I did with you, they would know it was you, and we're not doing Road Warrior 2, you know. And I agree with him. He gave me my career. Why would I be upset?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I love Furiosa because to me it tied everything together.
Yes.
It left a space for the last one, Wasteland, which may not happen.
Oh, but, I hope it does. Oh, I love them. So
yeah, so I can't understand why people don't like it.
Well, back on you, Vernon. Again,
I'm here.
Yes, exactly. But then we move along, obviously, to another cult movie, which was called Weird Science. Yeah, again, you play the crazy villain or the wacky guy so well back in the day. I mean, how did that? You sort of brought it across to Weird Science, which is so many. It's a cult classic, but again, you couldn't get away with it in today's age, could you?
No.
So, but you did it so well.
Most of the things I did in my early career, you could not get away with today. I was just fortunate,
especially in that movie, but I still love it.
Yeah. Well, now they're doing it with AI or computer generated or some other bloody thing. Whereas when we did them, it was us. We were out there breaking bones and, you know, bleeding noses and crap. But it was real because that's the way we were doing it. Now it's like, we're just going to drop that in with an AI, so we'll move on to this scene. It's like, what? I hate it, to be blunt.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, but that's why they're called the classic cult movies. And then we move along to another one one of my favourites in Commando, across Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, I've got to ask you one question though. Do you still have the vest?
Do you know what that was?
What was it?
I never knew what it was. It was supposed to be metal, and as the wardrobe said to me, if it was metal, it would weigh 65 pounds. And I think you'd probably last about a day before you fell dead on the set from running around. It just was not practical. It was called a stoker's vest, believe it or not.
Learn something new every day. I've never heard of a stoker's vest
Well, a
before.
stoker's vest was a vest, that the stokers in the bottom of English warships wore, and they were the ones putting the coal into the burners. And because, every time they opened the door and they threw the coal in, sparks would come out. They had these vests that were made out of merino wool, and merino wool is famous for it won't burn easily, very, very difficult, but it absorbs water. So what would happen? They'd sweat, the vests would get really wet, all the stuff that hit them went out, and that was where it came from. How do I know that? Because there is a group in England called the Bennett Society.
The Bennett Society.
And they have a thing every year, and I was talking to, because they keep wanting me to go to England to be in it, and I'm always working, thank God.
One day.
No. But I said to them, do any of you guys know how this thing came? And they said, of course, it's what it was, because they all have them. And I was wondering where they got them. And I said, it's a stoker's vest. You can buy it in the army, you dispose of sword.
Wow.
So that's how that came about. But yeah.
There were so many great one-liners in Commando as well. I mean, I always loved let off some steam, Bennett. But did you ever have a favourite one-liner from that movie? There were so many great ones in it.
Cut, print, thank you. That was my favourite line.
Fantastic.
No, it was, I had so much fun screwing around. Arnie and I were like two kids that wanted to piss up the wall, see who could get it up the highest. And he broke his shoulder, and I had my arm broken, my knee, and my elbow was totally thrown out, and the bone was sticking out, and all kinds of shit. Because we didn't know how not to go in there and do it hard. Because he's a big boy, I'm a big boy, and he was always trying to prove how big he was.
Yeah.
And so we both got bruised, and again, couldn't do it today.
No.
Back then, we were throwing.
That's why that era is always the best.
So yeah, I just enjoyed the whole thing. Mine would be, my favorite line was, "I'll be back, Arnold," when he was in the car, and he just looks at me.
He said, "What are you doing?"
I say that, you asshole.
That's brilliant. Well, again, another movie, one of my favourites as well, Innerspace. I mean, you must have had a very tough line learning your lines in that movie.
Oh yeah. That was Spielberg's idea of a joke.
Not letting you say a thing.
Don't let me talk, take my eyes away and my hands. He said, I want to see if you can act. I was like, thank you, sir. But no, there's one part of that movie, I was just talking to somebody about it. When I'm being questioned by my boss, the beautiful lady, blonde lady who was my boss, she's walking backwards and forwards, berating me because I let Martin Short escape. And at one point when she walked past, I go like that, and she just goes, don't. And I stepped back, and I could talk, but I didn't.
You didn't talk?
Yeah. He let me have that because it was very funny. It was Stephen's idea. He said, I just want to see how far you'll go.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I love all that shit. It's just, it's interesting and makes what I'm doing a lot more fun.
There actually is something that you've been in so many credits, but there was one particular interesting point about yourself as well, is that you were in a movie, or two movies, and they were both called Fortress. I've seen the Christopher Lambert. I enjoyed the movie, a little bit of fun. Another, Vernon Wells type character, 187, I think it was on the forehead. Noin. There you go. And but I haven't seen the other Fortress. It's based on a true story, so I'm going to have to go back and watch that over the weekend. Yeah. Yeah,
it's Australian, and I played Daffy Duck. That was based on a story of a group that kidnapped a busload of school kids and then buried the bus with the kids in it, but they had breathing things, and held them for ransom. And they managed to figure a way out, dig their way out, and escape at night. In the film, they became little murderers. They went around, they killed the whole lot of us before they
Well,
when.
it's something I'm going to check out personally and make sure I've seen both Vernon Wells movies. It's called Fortress, so a fun, interesting fact.
It was a good movie.
Yeah, well, I've been talking about obviously movies from my generation that I love, but you captured the attention of the younger demographic as well with the Power Rangers, another villain that you end up playing as well. So you get obviously the Power Rangers fans coming up to you at Supanova.
Oh yeah, quite a lot of them.
Yeah,
they're all in their 40s.
There you go. Well, maybe not.
You seriously watch Power? Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I did it for 12 months, and I always say that it was 12 months of absolute fun for me because I got to kick the butts of 7 kids for 12 months, and I got paid to do it. That was so much fun. But it was actually the first. In America, there were 2 firsts for that character. He was the first villain to kill a ranger.
Yes,
a Red Ranger.
Red one. Yes.
And he was the first human villain that they had. Everybody used to be in, all these things, or they were female with all these.
Creating history.
I was a straight human with just that thing on my eye. And that was the first for it. So I'm very proud of that they allowed me to do that. And they were actually close to cancelling the whole series because it had gone so far down in the ratings because I think the kids were getting sick of female villains. When they brought me in, there was the girl that played my daughter was actually the villain in that series, supposedly. And they said, let's make it a male. And they rewrote the whole thing for me to do it and made her my daughter. And we managed, by the grace of God, to bring it from way down to number 1 in the series. So they kept it still going.
You've been doing it all, haven't you?
Yeah, it's still going today.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm not going to keep you for too much longer. I'd love to keep you all day, to be honest with you. I can talk to Vernon Wells all day. But you mentioned you always want to be keeping busy and no signs of slowing down. What is coming up next for you that we should look out for Vernon Wells?
I'm at the moment in the middle of a fan film called The Crow. It's called The Days of Sodom. When I go back, I've got a couple more weeks to finish it. I'm playing the villain in that one.
Oh, shock horror.
I thought I was going to play the Crow, damn it.
I think you'd play a good guy as well. You play the villain so well.
Yeah. They got me to play the villain in that, and I've got. I'll be back probably next year, if possible, for about 12 months, doing a big sci-fi fantasy, which is a retelling of Treasure Island. It's called Island in the Stars.
Wow.
And it was something I told the director on a film that I was shooting, which I consider one of my best films. It was called Trouble Is My Business. It was a film noir, black and white, just love it to pieces. And he asked me what I wanted to do, and I said I'd love to play the pirate in Treasure Island, because I've always wanted to be a pirate.
Arr.
I think I am a pirate, but I've always wanted to do one on film.
You can do anything.
And so he wrote this whole thing and sent it to me and said, what do you think? And I said, that was 4 years ago. And I said, love it. So over the preceding 4 years, we've refined it, put it together. And we're now just in the throes of getting our financing complete. We have a couple of major stars who want to be in it, whom I can't mention, unfortunately, until contracts are signed. But they
want the exclusive when you can.
And they're just amazing. And we'll be over here shooting for about 12 months.
We'll have to catch up and we'll find out all the latest for Vernon Wells, like we have done today.
I'll be there. I'll be here.
No, fantastic. Again, we're very proud of what you've done throughout the course of your career. And again, very impressed that you can keep on going, staying strong, and you obviously take time out to see the fans, including myself. I'm one. Pleasure to have your company, and then you're welcome back in Perth anytime.
My pleasure. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, guys.